So let's get started.
Absolutely.
So first of all, tell me who you are. Introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Troy Reeves. I'm, titles, let's see. I'm a registered nurse. I'm an ex-military officer specialized in mental health and psychiatry who founded Anchor of Hope Counseling in 2017. I'm a John Maxwell certified business coach and speaker. Now I work with Sunrise Group as an executive coach and mental health coach. And I'm branding a new company now called AOH Life, which is more my coaching stream, which is going to offer a lot more of content and recorded series and workshops for people.
Okay, very cool. So what got you started? Tell me a little bit about your story. Where did you start out? How did you kind of become who you are today?
Well, it's interesting because somebody asked me a while ago, like, how did I know I was going to be a therapist? And I laughed because if someone told me I was going to be a therapist, I'm like, me? This is the guy that cracks jokes at everything. And there's no way I was going to be a therapist. But as I've looked back over my life, I start to see God's fingerprint on everything. And I started in sales. I didn't realize until I met Randy Wolgemuth with Sunrise that sales is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I used to downplay my sales background. Now I actually realize, wait a minute, that's exactly what I do as a therapist. I'm a salesman. Someone comes into my office and says I suck, and I'm selling them an idea that no, you don't. You just don't know how to change the way you think, and the greater salesman wins.
Yeah.
So my sales background got me started. Then I got into financial planning, learned a lot about wisdom and money matters, which coincidentally, so many of my clients struggle with money.
Yeah.
So being able to speak intelligently into those money matters also added to what I am doing today. And then I finally became a registered nurse, and that rounded the whole practice because now I work with the entire patient. I work with the mind, I work with the body, I work with the soul. And I think that's the best way to provide healthcare is not to silo its approach and I see this person for this and that person for this, but how can I actually see all the people's patterns and then to be able to speak intelligently into all of them so they get the best holistic outcome.
That's really cool. So you have a lot of experience, you said, right back from sales. So now you're kind of coming full circle. Randy does a lot of sales training and all that kind of stuff. How does sales impact like the way that you do coaching and the way that you do like Anchor of Hope and all that kind of stuff?
I think the part that really hit me was I'm taking his mastermind, which has been pretty cool. And one of the things that Grant Cardone teaches is that sales is largely about influence. And everything I teach my business clients and my therapy clients is the same thing. Leadership is influence. So if sales and leadership both derive from the same thing, and I'm already trying to capitalize on the influence side of the market, then I might as well figure out how to be a better salesman too, because it's all about influence. And it's not trying to convince people or sell something. It's trying to influence a decision and influence habits. And that's probably the best way that I can describe what I do for any of my clients. And I'll tell people this on the first session. My job is not to tell you what to think. My job is to show people how to think so that they end up making those decisions and it guides them through the battle so they don't need me long term. Unlike some of our counselors, and I'll put that in air quotes, that, so how's that make you feel stuff? It's like, I can't do that. I want to move people through problems, teach them the skills, and then like a paratrooper, just exfil and get out of there and let them fight their battles until the next curveball gets thrown.
It's the difference between give a man a fish and teach a man to fish.
You got it. That's exactly it.
Can someone actually continue to, I know some people, and their tendency is, I have a big problem. I got to go talk to my therapist, or I got to go talk to my counselor. And it's an interesting question. It has always been of like, okay, well, how are they approaching the question? You should approach the question the way they do. Like learn from them, take the tools and apply them. And if it is really valuable to you, then you should learn how to do that. Like that would be a huge advantage for people, right?
Yep. I'll even tell people jokingly, I'm trying to work myself out of a job on the first session.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I'll joke saying, that's a horrible business strategy until they figure out that it isn't, because happy people talk and then they send me a bunch of referrals and leave me glowing reviews, which is just humbling and super exciting. So I know I'm doing the right thing here. So I'm trying to keep clients.
That's cool. That's cool. So you have a military background. Tell me a little bit about that. What happened? How'd you get into it? And I know a little bit about the story, but tell me a little bit how you got out of it.
Yeah. I liked it. Like, I was a third generation military brat. So my grandparents were military. My parents were both military. Several of my cousins are still in the military. And I fought the urge to be in the uniform for many years. I tried all kinds of other things. And then when I think I was 27, and I finally realized the job market kind of sucked and I wasn't really happy with jobs. I wanted something with purpose. And I figured, you know what, putting a uniform on usually means purpose. I stand for something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And I joined the military. They gave me a full scholarship to go to the U of M for my nursing degree, and that was awesome. So I didn't have that financial burden. The deal was I owe them 9 years of my life for free education. And I'm like, I can do that. I gave them 12.
Yeah.
And I would have kept going until, when was it? No, it was early. It was 2014. So 2014 began a slow decline in my career, which in hindsight actually was the catalyst to launching the therapist that I became. So 2014, I remember I was running a clinic. I had chosen my specialty in 2011 in psychiatric mental health nursing. And now I'm running a mental health clinic in Shiloh, Manitoba. And that's where the problems began. I got caught praying with people, and they said that was a grievous offense. I didn't learn my lesson. So when I got posted to Nova Scotia, same thing happened. I had a young guy come into my office, probably 22 years old. He was a young corporal. He's been in the military maybe 4 years, just got sent to Afghanistan and came home, and he had to commit acts according to our rules of engagement that he needed to do.
Yeah.
But it violated his humanity and his faith in the process. So he is what I would call being in spiritual distress.
Yeah.
I'm doing my assessment as I always do. And even if it's not standard, I always do a faith assessment in my own assessments. I want to know what they believe in. Do you have any specific faith beliefs, or are you part of a church community or anything like that? If I found out they were Muslim, I would show them where Mecca was and how to get them a prayer mat.
Yeah.
But once I found out this young guy was a Christian, I'm a Christian. So I just figured that's easy. I can just love this guy right where he's at.
Yeah.
And I met his needs. It wasn't a soapbox, or it wasn't me trying to influence him. It was just me trying to be real with him. And I asked him if I could pray. And he looked at me almost bewildered and said, "Sir, you would do that?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Please." So I put my hand on him, and that memory is just so cool. But his anxiety was like a 9 out of 10. And by the time I was done with him, he walked out of my office like a 2 out of 10. And my staff were all like, "Sir, what did you do to him?" I'm like, "Nothing. I just loved the guy where he was at. God did the rest."
Yeah.
And then I never saw him again. Little did I know that moment transformed his life in a big way. He stopped taking his meds. I never told him to.
Yeah.
He had a follow-up with his civilian psychiatrist. And in that session, apparently, the psychiatrist was like, "Why'd you stop taking your meds?" And then the guy's like, "Oh, I didn't need them." "Well, tell me more." And then he goes on and on and on. And then I went to the clinic and and then I talked to the sir and then and then he prayed for me. And the psychiatrist went, "He did what?"
You got ratted out.
I got ratted out in a good way because he was bragging. But then the psychiatrist formalized some kind of a injunction against me. I'm pulled into my colonel's office. She goes up one side of me and down the other. And I'm charged with abuse of power, coercion, and independently administering healthcare interventions without consulting the rest of the team. And I'm like, "Ma'am, what the heck did I do?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Apparently you prayed with him." And I'm like, "Yes." And I would do it again. And we were at a stalemate. I was banned from clinical practice. I couldn't see any of my patients, but I'm still running the clinic. So I'm stuck in my office for 6 months. And the irony of this was I was writing 3 national defense policies on how to do mental health in the military. And I was ordered to finish writing my policies, but I wasn't allowed to see my patients.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm allowed to teach, but I'm not allowed to practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like that prison idea where you move a pile of dirt from side to side and drive them crazy. That was my next 6 months was I came to work and couldn't do anything meaningful.
Yes.
So that was the beginning of the end. And then eventually after those 6 months, 3 majors ordered me to never pray again with a soldier. And I said, sir, that's an unlawful command. And that's what did it for me, because they wrote me off as a religious whack job, took away my specialty, and then I put in my release and I left the military. So that was that story.
Yeah. So you have a lot of you operate on values.
Totally.
You operate on like what you care about and what you think is true. Talk about a little bit that side. Like, what are your values when you come into a situation or a conversation, or you're doing coaching and someone's got like business issues or something along those lines? What are those values that you bring kind of across everything?
Never thought of it that way. First word that pops into my mind is integrity. It's a lost skill sometimes. It's more than telling the truth. One of the things I'll coach people on is the nature of the word integrity. It comes from the Latin integer, which means to be whole.
Yeah.
So are we whole in our presentation with others, or is it the highlight reel and the fake, which is what social media characterizes right now? So I want people to see real. When they work with me, I want them to feel there's a genuineness. I want them to know that he's a straight shooter. He will tell you exactly what he thinks. There is no offending me. I even joke with people about that. You can't piss me off. You can't offend me. I dare you to try.
Yeah.
Because it's just not possible, because I love people and love comes with grace. So it doesn't matter what people do. My job is to sit there and go, oh, I didn't know that. Let's keep working through that. So integrity is a big one for me. And growth would probably be, I know that's probably an overused term, but I really value growth, not comfort. And if I could depict those things as opposite of one another, you don't grow when you're comfortable. And there's so many people that live in their comfort zones. Addiction is one of them.
Yeah.
Staying in their job, routines. And I'm not saying all routines are bad. I'm just saying so many people forget their dream when they were 6 years old.
Yeah.
They got out of the sandbox, they stopped dreaming, life told them this is who you are, and they accepted their reality. I try to challenge that reality. Is this who you were wired to be?
Right.
What if you could become more? I never, ever ask my clients, who are you? I would rather ask, who do you want to become?
Yeah.
And then let's reverse engineer that, come up with an action step and a plan. And then people get excited because I can do that. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So those are probably my 2 big things: is integrity, genuineness, authenticity, all kind of wrapped up in there. And then, are we getting the metric of growth? And I'll tell people, if you don't see a change in one of 3 areas, awareness, emotions, or behaviors, those are the 3 criteria I'm looking for. That's where change usually happens. If I'm not helping you in any of those 3 areas, I've wasted your time and money, and you need to fire me.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting quote. I think Alex Hormozy, he's a marketing business guy that I follow. He says, the only time you've grown is if your actions change.
Yes.
If you don't have an action change at the end of learning something, maybe you haven't actually learned anything.
Right.
Maybe you have some intellectual know-how, but if it hasn't actually impacted who you are, you haven't grown in any way.
And maybe that's where I would give people a little bit of grace, because before we get to behavior change, there must be an emotional response. And before the emotional response, there needs to be some sort of psychological impact, like your awareness goes, this isn't serving me anymore. That's where that cascade begins. So if I can get people even off that fence of indecision into a place, we talk about stages of change in psychology, and there's this pre-contemplative, I'm not really buying what you're selling. Yeah. Contemplative, that's interesting. And then we get into this action stage of change where I'm doing the work. So if I can get people from pre-contemplative to contemplative and they start to move into action, we're going to see those behavior results. But we need to do that work in the thoughts and the feelings first.
The actions are the downstream effect.
100%. 100%. Because think of the opposite. I've had a lot of parents in my practice, and they want their kids to behave. We can force behavior change, right? Consequences. You're grounded from your tablet for a week. What? Yep. And then it's like, now here's the thing, and I'll challenge parents on this. Did you actually change the way your child thinks when you implemented those consequences? They all know the answer is no.
Right.
We just force them to comply because they want their privileges back.
Right.
The healthcare system and a lot of coaching does the same thing. Do these 12 steps. do those things. Here's the behaviors we want to see. But if they're not backing this up, doing the prerequisite foundational work, are we fixing the mindset that got them into that bad behavior in the first place?
Become the person who does these 12 things.
Yes. That's the consequence of changing the way we think.
Yeah.
Which is where I think I bring something very different to the market because, like, am I a therapist? Yes. Am I a coach? Yes. How does that work? I don't know. It's a weird hybrid because when I took my coaching training with the John Maxwell team, they were very clear. Coaches aren't therapists. And I'm like, what happens if you are? So it's like I can't turn either of those hats off. And now my clients get the best version of both. Yeah. Because my therapy clients don't even know how to use a business coach.
Right.
And my coaching clients would never be caught dead asking for therapy.
Right.
So, but they get both. So that's where I'm always working on behaviors and emotions and thoughts consecutively. Concurrently, I should say.
Well, I guess the John Maxwell thing is great enterprises are run by great leaders, and great leaders become great leaders by becoming better leaders.
Yes.
Right. And it's like more.
Yep.
And it's how do you become a better leader? It's not about how do you lead better. It's how do you become a better leader so that the outworking of that is better leadership.
Absolutely.
And so, that's really cool. So tell me about Anchor of Hope. So you started Anchor of Hope in 2017?
2017, yeah.
Tell me about how you started that and how that's going. And
okay. So 2017 was another one of those moments. The military was the first catalyst. I started bouncing from healthcare job to healthcare job in Alberta. I joined an NGO called the Alex, and I was a team lead working in the streets of Calgary for about 3 years until my very I should say conservative mindset got me into trouble with that left-leaning organization. Yep. And me and a whole bunch of other conservatively minded people were all let go right around the same time, conveniently. So we all kind of shook the dust off of our sandals, and I left that behind. Finally got a job in my dream job working with Alberta Health in an ER setting as an emergency psychiatric support worker. So I got to deal with everything, initial presentations of bipolar and schizophrenia, whatever, people that are suicidal. I got to see the ugly and the dark, and I was right there on the front lines, and I couldn't have been more happy.
Interesting.
And I really loved what I was doing. Unfortunately, I connected with people too well, and some of them kept coming back into the ER setting because they wanted to see me instead of their free counselor through Alberta Health.
Your bedside manner's a little too good.
That's right. I know. So they kept saying, I needed to terminate. And I'm like, that's not ethical. Like, these people are getting something. Well, that's not what we're here for. We're here for emergency medicine. And I'm like, I can't turn my back on these people.
Yeah.
And that was what began another slow burn. And I got caught praying with somebody else. And this woman asked me to pray, found out she had a double mastectomy. And she just melted when she asked for prayer. And then at the end of that session, she's like, is it okay if I give you a hug? And I'm like, I'm a hugger. I'm like, I don't care. And then somebody caught me hugging her, and they complained that I was inappropriately touching female patients. And that's a scandal that everybody loves to hear. I'm a big guy covered in tattoos, and they're saying he's inappropriately touching people. So they let me go it was a wrongful dismissal. They went after my nursing license. It didn't amount to anything. But that became the final straw where my wife finally said, Troy, you've been fired 3 times. Like, nurses don't get fired.
Yeah.
And I've been fired 3 times. I'm like, what am I not getting here? So she's like, maybe we should start our own practice. And that's what started Anchor of Hope was I can't keep working for a broken system. I can't even in good conscience call it a healthcare system. I refer to this thing as a disease management system.
Yeah, response system, right.
Really, they're great for setting a broken bone. They are horrible with chronic issues or mental health issues because they rely on pills instead of skills. And I'm the opposite. Skills before pills. Like, if I can teach you how to fight, great. A lot of my clients don't need meds. And if they come in on meds, that's fine. I'll work with them. And I can talk intelligently about those meds and the side effects and how to wean and how to whatever. And then eventually the bridge that those pills served becomes unnecessary because they have the skills to jump that chasm on their own. And then we just get rid of the pills. So yeah, that was the beginning of Anchor of Hope. And it started in Alberta, and then right around COVID, we just had a crazy idea to come back to our roots, where my wife and my kids are from, which was here. Mm-hmm. So we packed up and took my practice online, which so many people were nervous about. But COVID showed us that we can do a lot of effective work in a virtual space. So yes. I knew if we can connect with people, yes, this is better. Mm-hmm. I like being able to shake your hand. But the reality is, if we were in different countries, we could still have a connection.
Absolutely.
And that's what I was showing all my business partners is, the key is whether you have the skill or not, you will be able to connect with people in whatever space. So
yes,
we went online, we brought our practice here, and I kind of started over in Steinbach and told all my Alberta clients, come online or not. And surprisingly, 96, 97% of my clients all followed me online because they were like, I don't want to find a new therapist. If this is what we've got, this is what we've got. I'm like, okay. And then after the first session, they're like, that wasn't so bad, because after about 5 minutes, you forget you're on a screen.
Yes.
So, and that's been our trajectory since. Now we're here in the community in Steinbach, and it's been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge. And yeah, we've been publicly recognized 2 years in a row as being the top mental health clinic in Manitoba, which is very humbling. And it just tells me I know what I'm doing. And I'm finally getting those accolades. When people told me you're a danger to patients, now I'm getting awards for doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, who's right? I don't know. I'll let the public decide.
The public has voted.
The public has voted.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's good. And I don't think anyone is going to have a misconception, right? If they come to Anchor of Hope, it's not that you haven't explained on the website or that in your story or when you have a conversation. This is how we operate. This is how we do it.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of the way that we do business is a little bit different than other marketing agencies. We operate on did we get you value? Cool, keep us around. If we didn't, you can just leave. Everyone else does these contracts and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of one of those things that starts to get around where it's like, give it a shot, try it, and our customers stay with us. And so we're happy to say, hey, you don't need a contract. We'll work based off of the value we provide to you.
That's awesome.
And so like that's kind of when people start validating, no, I actually do want to work with you. We're going to stay on with you. It's way better to have that than a contract holding someone in, or you're following like the industry standard for whatever reason.
Yep.
It's much better to just say, no, I actually have public recognition that this is good. What I'm doing is helpful and I'm providing a service.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So when you started out in Alberta.
Yeah.
I'm a marketing guy. So how do you grow your practice? Mostly word of mouth and connections?
Almost exclusively word of mouth. I've tried, I should say, in air quotes. I've tried marketing things before. I've tried Facebook ads. I even went so far as to hire a business coach in the States and paid $10,000 US to market me, which turned into a whole lot of nothing because they were using virtual assistants to mimic me and reach out to everybody on Facebook, which sounded and felt so cringy.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I was trying. I didn't know what else to do because that's not my forte. My forte is people.
Yeah.
And I know from all the years of study, even John Maxwell says this, stay in your lane. So I'm going to keep doing what I know I'm good at.
Yeah.
I will leverage people that are better at things than I am, and I will let go of the things I absolutely suck at, because why would I spend all my time working on something that's a deficiency?
Yeah.
So I know my skills, and that took me a long time to sort of just stay in my lane. This is my role. I see myself eventually touching 5,000 people at a time. I want to do the big speaking events. I want to do those things, and just how do I do more? Like, it's not about money, it's about influence. I want to be able to, it sounds optimistic, but I want to be able to change the world one person at a time, or 5,000 people at a time. That's just more efficient.
Yeah.
So that's my heartbeat behind all of this. So
that's cool. I think word of mouth, people like marketing agencies, I'm in a bit of a bubble. Marketing agencies don't give it enough credit, but it's not, word of mouth isn't not marketing. It's making your product so good,
right,
and that at the end of the day, when people go and talk about you, they're talking about how great it was. Right. So people will say, like the traditionals, the 4 Ps of marketing, right? You have price, you have product, you have promotion, and you have place. And the product is actually often the most important thing, because if you have good product, if it does what it says it's going to do,
right,
and you deliver amazing service,
right,
you can win on that alone.
Totally.
Will Guidera, he ran 11 Madison Park, which was the #1 restaurant in the world for a couple of years. And they didn't become the biggest and best restaurant in the world by having the fanciest food or the fanciest chefs that were like super famous. They did it entirely on experience.
Right.
How can we make the customer service? Yes. How can we deliver what people want?
Yeah.
And that can win for people.
100%. Yeah.
And so I like when people say, "Oh, what do I need to do for marketing?" I do. Like we have a bit of a rule of like, don't do marketing for people who have bad products. Like we try to avoid, like if your service is bad, your reviews are terrible, we usually don't do marketing.
Let's put lipstick on a pig. It's like,
Lipstick on a pig still doesn't sell. I'm not buying pigs, right?
Exactly.
So people are like, "Oh, I just do referrals, so I don't do marketing." It's like, you just do referrals? You have a great product. Yeah. You've nailed one of the pieces of marketing that's so important. So that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. So what are you doing? Like, what has changed from when you started Anchor of Hope to what you're doing now?
In terms of change, I was challenged probably 3 years ago by my business partners in Alberta to clone myself. Now that sounds great, but I mean, it's been a struggle. I'll just be honest, because I know I can't find another me. So people are saying that will Anchor of Hope evaporate to nothing when I stop working? And that question really bugged me because I don't want that to be my legacy. Right. It's a reality. It makes sense that when you are the product, like it's not something I can just distill into, here, buy my book or whatever. And I shouldn't say that. Maybe I need to be writing those books. Maybe I need to be doing those extra things because those will survive my therapy practice. And I am actually writing a book for that reason. But I started thinking, I got to find a way to scale. And that was scary. That's what we're doing right now in Steinbach is we took a step of faith. We brought the practice out of my basement and into the community at great cost, which that's its own challenge.
Yep.
And then we're starting to attract other providers and trying to train a different breed of therapist. I'm not attracting new therapists. I'm attracting people with experience that I'm hoping want to refine how they do what they do, and we get to create a common language so that there's a flavor around Anchor of Hope. I have some very signature things that I teach people, and anybody who's worked with me will know certain things that I've taught, and I want that language to infuse all the therapists that work with me. So that's been where we're trying to scale and break into the market a little bit different and offer a very value-adding service to people, but it comes with its own inherent struggles as well, because not everybody's as invested. It's my company, not theirs, and I got to find different ways of doing that. So I mean,
so when you say like shared language, are you talking about like some of those tools that you equip people with, and like the process of like, hey, we want to actually get people out of the system instead of holding them in here for a long time, that kind of thing?
I do not want to be known as just another counseling firm where people come in, sit in a chair, and then start word vomiting to some well-intending, compassionate person who just sits there and goes, interesting, tell me more.
Yeah.
Like any trained monkey can do that. And I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes, but I've known professionals in this field that comment on, oh my goodness, counseling's so easy. I can't believe I'm making this kind of money. And that drives me bananas because it's not easy. If you're sitting in the room just letting them spiral in your office and then sending them a bill when you're done, that's gross. I don't care how nice and how well-intending you are. We need to have something between our ears. And that's where I have a huge value conflict with the healthcare system, because it's interesting that we're having this conversation right now, because that just unlocked a memory from when I was with Alberta Health.
Yeah.
When they fired me, one of their derogatory comments to me was, you talk too much like an expert. The client has all the information and you need to facilitate. And I'm like, respectfully, I disagree.
Yeah.
The client doesn't know what they don't know. Why the frig do you think they're in here going, help?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to go, they have all the answers. Let's guide them to their revelation. Or do we teach them? Do I teach them how to fish?
Yes.
And then they walk out of my session knowing how to fish.
Yeah.
To me, that takes a different level of experience and education to be able to run a therapy session instead of facilitate one. So
interesting.
That's one of my big value shifts and that's what I want to be known for. I don't want to be known as an eloquent speaker or a motivational speaker. Like, I know I'm a good speaker, but that's not what I want to be known for. I want to be able to go beyond motivation, even beyond education, which is a challenge because I do a lot of teaching.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I learned a long time ago that knowledge isn't power. It's the application of knowledge that makes us powerful. So I've got to find a way to go beyond motivation and education, and it must result in transformation. And if I can't land there with a client, you need to fire me. That's my standard on session one.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting thing, because ultimately, if you brand yourself as that, and you're starting to do more content and stuff, that will just come across, because this is who you are. This is how you operate. It's not like it's a change from anything you've done before. So your brand is just an authentic. This is what I care about. These are my values, and it it equates to the way that you actually run your practice. It's not that it impacts the way you run your practice. It is the same thing.
Yes.
It's one and the same.
Yes.
And so that's from a branding perspective, super interesting, because it's a key differentiator, and it's just what you do. It's not like a lot of people pontificate about what would I like my brand to be, or where would I like to, or how do I aspire to be. This is just the way that you operate.
Yeah.
And you just need to bring that to more people to come in and help you do that, and to more clients that you can help serve.
Love that.
Which is super cool from a branding perspective. Some brands don't have anything. You're like, oh, you're a dentist and you don't care about anything other than standard dentist practice.
Right.
Building a brand for that is difficult, because you have to come up with things. How do you differentiate? We sell the same service. We're public. Yeah. We're billing public. But you're in a space that is very much that way. Everyone's it's a commoditized service because everyone does it the same way, but they don't.
Right.
You can do it differently. You can create your own flavor, your own brand, the character behind it. Even if you think about culture, right? You're going to have a different culture at Anchor of Hope than there will be at places that don't care, aren't as intentional.
Totally. It's interesting you say that, because even the agency referrals that I'm getting now, I work with Child and Family Services, and I'm not technically educated enough for them because I only have a bachelor's degree.
But I don't have your master's.
I don't have my master's. I have 3 subspecialties, and I've been studying for years. But some of these organizations still want me to work with their kiddos because of the results that I get. So they find a way of, we're still going to just send this work to Troy.
Yeah.
Same thing with Veteran Affairs. I'm not in their system as a psychologist because I'm not a psychologist. But they keep me on as a nurse, sort of, and they make me a case manager, sort of, just so they can send me certain very treatment-resistant veterans that have fallen through the cracks and they don't know anybody else to send them to. We have a guy, let's tag Troy. So that kind of stuff really makes me curious, because people are knowing the difference in what I do, and even if my education is a barrier, they find a way to send me their work. And then my clients do the same thing.
If you solve a problem for people...
Yeah.
And the word gets out that you're kind of good at it.
Right.
There will be no lack of work and people coming your way. There's a thing of, if I know someone who does something really well,
right,
that's where I will send people.
Right.
It's not a matter of there's different people I know and maybe I'll spread it. No, I just send people to the best guy.
Right.
And so if you can be that tool for people, you can be that resource. Everyone loves to be hey, I was able to refer you to someone awesome. Everyone likes that.
Right, because it's another way of adding value, which is the mandate that I live by. And that's what I'm hoping for everybody. No, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry.
It speaks to us a little bit. At SoulSphere, our main core principle is add value.
Okay.
And so if we're not adding value to a client, that client should fire us.
Yep.
We should end the situation. But we have like some sub things. So it's like add value in money, in feeling of the brand, in the way that you feel about your own marketing. Add value in the ability to sell, in your ability to have integrity when you sell and promote yourself. So we're adding value along all these different stages.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and I use that phrase a lot because I like to get down to like, what's the fundamental thing that we're talking about? And at the end of the day, if I'm adding value, I'm a happy guy.
That's it. I'm trying to incorporate now the rest of those operation symbols into my practice. So we all talk about adding value. That's a very John Maxwell thing as well.
Yeah.
Then I'm also thinking in terms of what do we need to subtract from our life? Distractions, mindsets, addiction, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Then how do we divide old mindsets versus new? How do we divide toxic influences versus helpful ones? And then eventually we get into multiplying, which is truly the pinnacle of leadership, is you add value and then you multiply leaders.
Yeah.
Leaders who then add value, and that creates legacy. And that's what I want more than anything. And it's so cool because a lot of my clients I inherit are all the ones that have been hurt by the system. Like I'm the guy that usually shows up last and they come into my office going, counseling doesn't work.
You get the scraps.
I get the scraps, but they're jaded. They're not expecting anything. They've been hurt 2 or 3 times. They're trying to find a good care provider. So kudos to them for doing that. And then when they finally walk out of my session with a small headache going, what the frig just happened? They're like, that was cool.
Yeah.
And I love those moments because it's like they said it didn't work until it worked.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now what are you going to do?
Yeah. I've just changed your mind a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the parallel to us is like when we talk about like marketing strategy, people are like, oh, what is a good marketing strategy? Or like how do you build a good marketing strategy? It's actually more about what you don't do than what you do. It's what are the things you remove? Yeah. What are the things that you're spending money on or wasting time on that actually are providing no value?
Yeah.
If you can remove the things that are giving you no value and put more effort into the things that give you value, that's strategy.
You got it.
To us, it's not about, just keep adding and adding and adding and adding.
Right.
It's what do you not do?
Right.
What are you prioritizing? And a real priority means you're actually not doing things. Otherwise, if you were doing everything, nothing would actually be a priority. When you create priorities, you create things that are less valuable and therefore shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
So, and that's like, I guess in life, I guess that happens too. Like, okay, what am I not going to do because I find this thing valuable now? What do I need to remove to make that possible?
Yeah.
And lots of times there's stuff to get rid of, right?
Yeah.
Some bad stuff, and then you can add good stuff.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
So we're saying the same thing: plus, minus, add, subtract,
more
prune.
Good, less bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Divide and conquer, multiply leaders.
Yeah.
So same message. So.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's your dream for Anchor of Hope? And now you're part of Sunrise, and now you have I've lost the name of
AOH Life.
AOH
so
Life.
It's got its roots in Anchor of Hope, but we're trying to think of a different way to get into an international space.
Okay.
And provide high quality content through coaching platforms. So what my vision is right now is we've actually hired a guy from the Philippines to do video editing for us. And he's been an absolute genius. So he's taking all my content and then he's revamping it into a very social media friendly stream where we're creating reels. I just posted our first reel yesterday. And part of that is give more in value than I ever charge for compensation. So it's a sacrifice because what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be giving away a lot of my IP. And I'm just going to be putting it out there in the market because I actually want the market to grow. I want people to look back at AOH Life and go, that guy's the real deal. He's giving away stuff he could sell. Why? And then that will attract. I'd rather be in the attraction business than the promotion business. So I want people to realize who I am, and then they want to work with me because of what they see out there in the space.
Yeah.
So,
and if other coaches go and steal what you're doing,
great.
And then they help their customer,
great.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's empowerment, according to John Maxwell. Don't be afraid to give away that kind of stuff. It will come back to me. That's where I have to look through the lens of faith and not through sight. Because if I was trying to monetize everything I did, my focus has changed. I'm no longer focused on client. I'm focused on result.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want that to be my mandate. I know that significant people become successful, but not every successful person becomes significant. So I would rather chase significance and be that value-adding leader and hit the space in a world that's dominated by fear and anxiety.
Yep.
What was the first thing I taught on and gave away? Anxiety. The number one topic that people pay me for, I decided to make a free lesson and send it out to the market. Here's a video, a half-hour lesson on anxiety. Use it, embrace it, understand it. And if you want to do deeper work, you know where I am, tag me, and I'll get into the well with you.
Yeah.
But some people might only need that video, and maybe they'll follow, maybe they'll share, maybe they'll go, oh my goodness, you need to watch this guy. Whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to put the content out there, add value, and then AOH Life is going to step into that space. And according to my video editor in the Philippines, like he said something that was so touching. He watched my he's been working on my videos, and now he realizes that I'm not his client. He's becoming mine. And he's sitting there going, the stuff you're giving me, I've never, ever had a therapist, but this, you're changing everything I've ever thought of. I can't wait to work on your next video. And I'm like, that's cool.
That's a cool place to be. Yeah.
So this is a passion project for him now. He just can't wait to edit and get the next one out there because it means he gets to absorb all that content. And it's been interesting. I plan on going to the Philippines sometime, and I said, you're going to show me all the local food vendors. He's like, absolutely, come on down. I'm like, I love that. So
that's super cool. That's super cool. So, so that's the Anchor of Hope Life part.
Yep.
Your practice, are you going to be growing? Are you going to be adding more?
I'd still like to. My hope is to keep scaling and attracting the right kind of professionals that share my mindset for therapy and coaching. We have some...
Have you had success bringing other people in?
Mild success.
Okay.
Right now, it's not justifying the costs of the building we're in because my billables cover almost all the offices because my staff... And the split that I have with my staff, I'm not taking enough money, but I can't increase my split because my philosophy is I want my staff to do well.
Yeah.
So, but I only do well when they do really well. So but that's one of my values. So it's like I don't want to be your average employer that it's all about me and here's your little crumbs and go home and pay your bills. I'm going to flip that script. So it hasn't worked out the way I wanted. And again, it's just a test of faith, but I'm going to keep doing what I can do as long as I can do it. If I have to, we will transition and go completely online.
Yeah.
And get rid of the commercial real estate and all the costs associated with that. We could make it simpler, but I'm not in a rush to do any of that. So, and I know there's a couple other people that have been itching to work with me, but they're in different stages of their education. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what the market will bear, and I will keep looking for those people that have a similar mindset as me, and I will attract those professionals over time. So yeah, I fully intend to keep mentoring and training professionals that want to be a part of something different, and they aren't looking for a job.
I'll tell you something. I think as you start to post more content and as you start to grow online, your brand will be the thing that attracts more people. From working with lots of people on getting more staff, brand is one of the most valuable thing for bringing in high quality people that match who you are and your values. Because if they've been following you or they have some engagement with you, they'll know what your values are before they even walk in the door. And they might even start to share some of your values if they've been learning from you, and they maybe share some of your culture already because they've been learning from you on those pieces. So I think you'll find being bigger on brand and being bigger on social will bring in the people.
That's encouraging. Yeah, because this is something I've avoided for way too long. I kind of hate the social aspect of things, but I know it's the only way and the only space to grow if I'm looking to reach that market. So that's why I'm delegating and diversifying and getting onto the social train. So
it's so much easier to like get in front of a lot of people. Online. And some people are like, oh, I only got like 200 views on my video. And it's like, do you know how many people 200 people is?
Right.
Like 200 people is a lot of people. Can you talk to 200 people in a day? No, but a post that goes out can absolutely get in front of 200 people.
Right.
And so that's kind of like an interesting thing. Like people are like, oh, I didn't get that many views. I'm kind of like a couple hundred views. And it's like, I don't know. That's if they're the right people.
Right.
If you're in front of the right people at the right time, 200 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, that's cool. Well, thanks so much. We'll wrap it up here. Okay. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate you. And we'll see more of you soon.
Right on. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem.